Well, happy New Year's Eve to everyone on this Monday, the last day of 2018. And I've been gone for a few days. I'd like to thank everyone who kind of helped me out. And of course, Lisa did a great job with all the guests and all that. So thank you to her. She has today off, which she should have. All right. Our show today, we're going to bring you a segment with Third Mutual. Steve Parsons is going to kind of give us a wrap-up of the year. Also from Medterra, Ben Dickerson is here, and they do the CBD, they do the oils and lotions and pills, and he's going to talk about that, and we'll kind of maybe look forward to the coming year and see what else they're going to be coming out with as well. Going to bring you a segment with our security chief, Tim Moy, and also Bressling. Now, though there are no meetings today, the next meeting will be tomorrow. GRF's, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Wednesday, GRF's meeting would normally be the first Tuesday of the month, but of course tomorrow is a holiday, so GRF's regular board meeting will be at 9:30 on Wednesday this week. So it'll be at the usual time, a different day. So that will be on Wednesday. All right, let's get to the cold weather coming your way. Really, it's been pretty chilly, but nice weather. What's going to be happening again tonight? Last week, we had those Santa Ana winds come up while we were gone, and I looked at our camera, and our basketball net had kerplunked down, which is not good. So now we have looks like at the county fair, you know how they have those basketball hoops that are kind of squished to oblong? That's how ours is right now, but I think I'll be able to fix it. Well, those winds are going to kick up tonight. And right now there's going to be high wind warnings coming in all the way from about 8 o'clock tonight through Wednesday. Definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, probably by Wednesday morning. Morning clouds, if you're watching us in the morning, then it'll be sunny and cool. And we really have cool to cold weather, as you can see, coming up all the way through next weekend. Now, next weekend, meaning Saturday and Sunday, maybe Sunday and Monday, we're looking at our first chance of New Year's rain coming in. But that's far enough off. We got to kind of do wait and see. But if you got things you want to do over the next few days, like I do, like taking down the Christmas lights, I'm going to be doing that tomorrow because I don't want to wait till next weekend when it possibly could be raining. Let's look around Orange County and beyond today. The first thing you're going to note right there, yeah, Palm Springs, a high of 59 degrees. It's been cold out there. And Big Bear, 32, that's going to be their high today, going down to 13 overnight. And by the way, there is a slight chance in the mountains that they could get a Big Bear right with those areas, a little bit of snow flurries tonight. There's enough moisture in the air that possibly could happen. Everywhere else, though, you can see is really maybe we'll get 63 up there in Anaheim, but averaging 58, 59 degrees. So that's how it should be, right? December 31st, we don't want it at 80 degrees. So beautiful, crystal clear weather, but those Santa Ana winds are due to kick in tonight all the way through tomorrow and possibly into Wednesday morning. So batten down the hatches. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
If you have Medicare, you got to get Alignment Health Plan's Black Card. It's a member-only benefit, unlike anything I've ever seen, giving you access to one-on-one health support any time of day or night. Need to schedule an appointment or need it right there? They'll take care of it. Now you can talk to a doctor 24 hours a day. Call them and get a card of your own, and all the benefits you deserve, too.
This is how we burger, brew, and cube. Pick a town. Arrive hungry, real hungry. Start with a massive burger. Charred, juicy. Add bacon, a buttery bun, pile high. Serve it up, wash it down. Creamy, hoppy, fruity, malty. We're not done yet. Q-time, deep fried, sauce soaked, pork ribs, meaty, tender. I'm full. Where to next?
All new Burgers, Brew, and Q. Tuesday at 9. Cooking Channel. Stay fired up.
And welcome back. With me right now is Steve Parsons from the third board. Nice to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope you had a good holiday.
Sure did.
All right, and going to enjoy New Year's tonight?
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good. So am I. You got a few things to talk about, and one of the first ones is energy, and you brought some stuff along that we'll get to in just a few minutes.
Correct. Yeah, I want to talk about some new challenges we're facing next year, and one of them is energy. And as some of you may know, we have a consultant on board who's looking at our infrastructure and what we have currently and what we'll need in the future. So looking forward into future energy needs, we're going to be looking at things like electric vehicles, what's needed there, additional golf cart parking, for instance, charging stations, things like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to work with them, third board I'm talking about, determining locations, the timing of when we want certain things installed, and funding sources. So they'll take all that in consideration as they figure out what our energy load needs to be and how we need to upgrade. So that's what's happening in energy. In parking, I've just been named to be chairman of the parking task force for Third Mutual. So we're going to be taking a relook at the current configurations for parking, such as underground, carports, and curbside parking. And one other thing we're looking at is possibility of restriping parking spots.
Okay.
We have some people that are overlapping, not parking necessarily where they should be. And you know, and I know that when you get out of whack, you can hit somebody else's door.
Right.
You know, with your door.
Is it because you need to change the configuration, or just because they need restriping?
Just need restriping.
Okay.
The stuff is so old.
Okay.
And a lot of places the paint is already worn off.
Right.
And people may have a hard time figuring out where they're going to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we are looking at especially electric vehicles and the recharging of those, and as well as golf carts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where eventually, you know, a lot of what kind of charging stations where they may go. And I know the boards are all looking at how do we charge for this? You know, is it going to be like a swipe card, or because more and more they're going to be needed, and maybe not dedicated. You know, there's certain people may want them where they live is for their own personal use, but I know you're talking about in the boards maybe putting them at different clubhouses and things like that, and how many you'll need. And
other throughout Third Mutual as well.
Yeah.
So we're also looking at additional parking possibilities for cars and golf carts. Can we squeeze more spots out? Along with our turf reduction, is there any way of putting some spots in? Things like this. So there's a lot of things we have to look at.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a lot of research as well. In the landscape area, we're looking forward to verticutting, turf management, and we can show the first slide here what verticutting is.
Yeah, we got this on behind us, and I know this is something that has been common to golf courses for years.
Yeah, and as well as homeowner associations.
Right.
We're about the only ones in the whole area that don't do this.
Yeah.
And simplistically put, if you think about the grass clippings and how they compact down, they can solidify almost about a half inch to an inch above the ground.
Yeah.
And that stops the water flow from getting around. It stops the sunlight and all like this. So it affects the growth pattern of grass. So what this does is it has like a dethatching machine. It has big heavy blades that go down and cut up everything, including weeds as well as grass, pulls it up to the surface. Another machine comes along, skims it off, we get rid of it, and then they come through and mow it. And sometimes they need to reseed, but it bounces back within like 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
So it's quite a process, but we have to be in the idea of turf management now, not turf reaction. So this should help us considerably. We have already budgeted for this item for next year, and it should start in early spring.
Okay, so if you were to get this, is this something that would be used on a monthly basis, or just going around as needed to certain areas?
Just as needed.
Okay.
The first thing we're going to do is hit areas where they have big open areas. Okay, that's where we can make a lot of money on this right off the bat.
Right.
And especially those areas we want to really come up nice and green in the summertime. So we'll get rid of the old thatch, bring in the new and reseed if we have to. Other places, it'll be a combination of this and turf reduction.
Okay.
So as you can see in the photograph, this is the kind of machine that goes around and does this. They have smaller ones, they have bigger ones. But when they get going, they really cover a lot of area quickly.
Okay.
Our own golf course has their own, but we can't use it because they use it quite often. So we'll probably have this under contract when it's done.
Okay. All right. So that means you'll have someone come around and do it every so often.
Probably,
as far as
at least the
when you're saying
initial
they're-
for next
see how
year,
it works.
2019. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Still going on with landscape, a lot of you may have noticed that we have slope maintenance going on where
Yes.
we're taking down the slopes. A lot of things have caused that. In the past, we've had a lot of fire concerns, and the Orange County Fire Authority has come around and said, hey, you folks have to do some precautionary
Yeah.
works. Okay, so they're looking at the hillsides, telling us a lot of which we need to do, where they're located, and the possibility of burns. Okay, in some areas, like one close to mine, there's a lot of vegetation that goes straight up the hillside, and the plants on there create a flammable oil. And if a fire starts at the bottom, it'll go all the way up, reach a tree at the top, and be at
Right.
the top level of a
Yeah.
building. So we have to cut that down and make it manageable. I'm told in the future that we need to be keeping things at least 34 inches or less
Okay.
down. But the first pass, we're going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff in there. And as some people have mentioned, it helps control wildlife as well. So coyotes habitat,
Yeah,
they can't
yeah.
get in the thickets. We had one place where on one of the slopes, they found 4 rattlesnakes within 100 feet. So it'll help take care of this problem as
Wow.
well. So
yeah.
there's lots of benefits to this. And one of which is a reduction in use of water. We aren't going to have to use that much water. Because as you can imagine, when grass sprigs are farther apart, it takes less water to get down to the base
Yeah.
of it. So we're looking forward to saving money in that area. Also, funding for this area is put into the 2019 budget as well.
Okay.
So it'll be a continuing thing for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as water conservation, we've mentioned slope maintenance and verticutting, but I want to just go over a little bit about what's happening this year. This year we budgeted $2,533,000. As of the end of October, if everything holds the same, we will be over by approximately $270,000. So how do we deal with that? You know, how do we make sure next year we don't run into the same situation for budgeting? And so anyway, there's ways that people can help us save money. One of which is moisture intrusion. As you know, that's cost us a lot of money in the past. The cost to individuals, insurance companies, and to us, if you put it all together, is many thousands of dollars, okay, every year. And those of you who have had to live through the experience can testify that it's not a pleasant thing to go through.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, the first thing we'd like to touch on is if you see any form of water intrusion, a leak, water spots on your ceiling, water spots on your floors or anything like this, or any puddles of water, be sure you call Resident Services immediately and use the term leak.
Yeah.
I have a leak.
Okay.
Don't say I see a water stain or something like that. And then within an hour or so, somebody's going to be there to evaluate what your
Okay.
situation is.
All right.
So very, very important.
Yeah.
Other ways to save water, as we've mentioned before, one thing you can do is in your ice maker. We've had a lot of ice makers fail, and it's because of the water supply line and back, which is only plastic.
Right.
And it's really only good for 3 to 4 years. So if you want to make sure that you don't leak, then you need something like this. It doesn't cost a whole lot. It's over at Home Depot. And in fact, it's a chargeable service if you buy this, and we have our own VMS staff come out that can install it for you
Okay.
in the back of your refrigerator. So it's flexible metal hosing and should last indefinitely, and it's highly recommended.
Yeah. One other thing, if I can put onto that, if you're somebody like we do not use our ice maker. We don't have one in our refrigerator. However, behind it is the valve.
Correct.
So number one thing I know a long time ago we did, not only we checked the valve to make sure it turned off, but also we put a valve cap on there.
Oh, good.
So that way, even if that thing got open somehow, nothing's going to leak out.
Correct.
So if you're not using your ice maker, there's a valve behind there or something, check it to make sure it closes tight, or put, close it off somehow, and you won't have any problems then.
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing is leaky faucets. If you have a leaky faucet, it'd be well worth the time to have somebody come out, replace a gasket if that's what it is, or a washer, a rubber washer. Or if you have something that's old, that the metal may be even decaying or falling apart, have it replaced. Now, one thing I found recently is in my shower, I had an old shower head which delivered a lot of water, but it was also leaking all over the place. So I went to Home Depot and I found one of these, and it's a low-flow shower head, but it also has a little device on here called a trigger device. And a lot of us like to get in and have water pour over our head for a while. But then, while you're soaping off, you just hit this and it virtually stops the water. While you're soaping off, then you punch it and it comes on again. So I put one in my place and I just love it. Boy, I'm glad I got rid of the old one.
Yeah.
But these are very inexpensive too. And I know over here at our own Home Depot, they have 5 different styles that have this trigger button on them. So that's another way you can save some money.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing that I have in my area was the water spout into the bathtub. And what this was doing was leaking, and it was leaking right here where the cable connects to go up to the shower head.
Okay.
And it's quite old because I'm only the second owner of my unit. But when I bought a new flex hose for my shower that came with the shower head, I connected it, and actually it helped stop some of the leaking. Okay. And when I pull the little trigger here to divert the water up to the shower head, it works a lot better now.
Okay.
And in fact, I like it a lot better than what I had before. But anyway, if your unit like this, like mine did, really leaks a lot between the connections, I would have that done. This can also be done as a chargeable service.
Okay.
But like the shower head and like the cabling for your ice maker, we recommend that you purchase the item to go on, and then we perform the labor.
Okay.
Okay, and that's in our new chargeable services list that you can call for resident services.
Okay.
And they can schedule you to have these items taken care of.
Okay, very
So
good.
I wanted to let you know on that. One last thing, as a precaution, if you're going to be away from your unit for an extended period of time, and that depends on the person. Some people may be gone a month, maybe 6 months, something like this. I would highly recommend that you have somebody in the local area that can check your unit while you're gone and look for moisture intrusion.
Okay, that's a good
any
idea.
leaks, anything like that, and immediately report it on your behalf. It saves a lot of headache and a lot of damage and filing claims. So it's well worth your time if you can have somebody check on things for you and let you know. So those are the highlights that I see is coming up this next year. And as one last thing, many of you out there have ideas. And some people have come to me recently and said, how do I ever bring an idea forward? Well, here's how you can do it. Please write down what your idea is, pros and cons, things like this, and suggestions, and give it to the particular committee that's in charge of handling your suggestion. Okay, if it deals with walls, flooring, things like that, M&C would be the good place to go. If it deals with gardening or anything close to your house that's of a vegetation nature or slopes, then that's landscape. So don't let the opportunity go by to let your voice be heard. And to tell you the truth, it helps. It'll let us know that there's other things out there that we may not have considered.
Yeah,
so working
you're
together,
right.
we can listen to each other and work together and make our community better.
Yeah, for sure.
So other than that, I just wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
And hope everything goes well for you in the new year, and looking forward to working with everybody again.
All right, Steve, take care.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cart Mart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Cart here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
For more information, visit medterracbd.com.
Well, Ben is back with us, Ben Dickerson of Medterra, and I always enjoy having you here.
Yeah, thank you
Welcome,
very much.
sir.
Appreciate it.
Great to have you here today, and you brought your products as you've done in the past. You've got the lotion, the pills, and you call it the tincture oil.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. The three staples of our product line. So our cooling cream is great for muscles, joints. Arthritis is another big a big reason for the cream. The sleep tablets obviously sells itself. It's you have a hard time sleeping. 25 milligrams of CBD and a good night's sleep. And then the oil is our #1 selling product and most popular, primarily because it's what you see on Good Morning America and all the morning TV shows.
Right.
The CBD oil.
Now, are they, for the oil and the pills, are they interchangeable? Would you use those for the same things?
Yeah, well, so that pill in particular is specific to sleep.
Okay.
The oil itself you could use before you go to bed. It's great for anxiety. So if you've got a lot of thoughts running through your brain, trying to sleep, then yeah, I would absolutely recommend you do try that. But if you're looking to get that extra push, then no, they're different in their regards. One's for sleep and then one's just for everyday activity.
All right, and I understand we were talking about this before, but I don't know if you're coming up with this, but I know there's products that are specific to pets, to dogs and
Correct.
stuff, because dogs get anxiety, especially if you get older dogs like ours do now and then.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've created a pet line. It's going live on our website, I believe this week or next.
Okay.
It's exciting for us because I personally have a dog. All of our staff has animals, and it's you leave them at home for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they've got anxiety, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
need to rest and calm themselves. So it's a great product for an animal to consume. They're a mammal, so we all have endocannabinoid systems inside of us. Dogs and cats actually require a little bit less CBD than us, and it's a great product to really help calm their nerves.
Great. So when you come out with that, you have to.
I'll bring
it
back,
over.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you were telling me we're coming into tomorrow into 2019.
Yes.
And we were talking just beforehand about this major farm bill that was
Yes.
signed and how that it could affect your industry.
Yeah. Oh, it 100% affects our industry in a very positive way. So for a long time, hemp was illegal in the United States. The farm bill that President Trump signed about 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, what it does is it legalized hemp, and more specifically, it legalized CBD derived from hemp.
Okay.
So what we were doing, we were operating under a federal farm bill that was enacted for research purposes of the hemp plant.
Okay.
So we were always selling a legal product, but what this means now is that if you have a cornfield in Nebraska and you want to convert it over and start growing hemp, now you will legally be able to do so. So it's a big movement for the hemp industry, and there's so much more that the hemp plant can do other than just CBD products.
Of course.
It's one of the strongest fibers.
Yeah.
We can make plastic from it. People build houses from it, clothing. I mean, the plant is pretty incredible, not just from a medicinal benefit, but it's just a plant that we've criminalized for so long, and now it's actually going to be accessible to everybody.
Now, your stuff, the hemp that you utilize, you said is grown in Kentucky. Were they
Yes.
under like a certain kind of a grant or under the older Farm Bill?
Yeah, it was a research pilot
Okay.
program. So there were a few states that actually allowed those research pilot programs. Kentucky's a big one, Colorado, Oregon, Washington. But yeah, we chose Kentucky. They converted a bunch of tobacco fields. So Kentucky's got a rich history in agriculture.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And this was an opportunity for them to get away from the tobacco stigma and now move into the hemp. And it's created jobs for tons of people out there. And you know, it's the reason for my livelihood. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for
Well,
it.
as long as they keep enough cornfields along for bourbon.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
So
yeah.
that'll be okay. So as far as these people ordering these products,
Yep.
why don't you go through the process?
Sure.
Can they find them in Mother's Market? Do they order direct through you?
Yeah.
Are they over the counter? How does that work?
Yep. So first and foremost, you can go to our website, medterracbd.com. All of our products are available. We deliver it to your door.
Okay.
So you know that's probably the first place. And I know we're in the e-commerce days, so
Yes.
it's pretty easy to go and find us. Yeah, there's brick and mortar stores all over the United States that carry our product. I know here in Laguna Woods we've got Adapt to It.
Oh, of course, Adapt to It,
Yeah,
yes.
they sell our product.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're now, due to the Farm Bill being signed, we've got the opportunity to sell through mass market retailers. So I think in 2019 you're going to walk into a Target or a Walmart or any major supermarket and start seeing CBD products on their shelves, which is really exciting. It just opens up a lot of doors for us.
And it's really, I think, for some folks getting over the stigma.
Yeah.
That it is a totally different product
Yep.
than cannabis is.
It is, and none of our
I
products.
should directly say marijuana because the C in there stands for the oil.
Yeah.
It's a similar.
Right, so a marijuana plant has high psychoactive THC.
Right.
The hemp plant does contain THC, but our products are all THC free, so nothing psychoactive in here. Really safe to consume. You can operate a vehicle while using our product. There's a stigma though, and here in California with recreational marijuana being, as big of a boom as it is right now, it's kind of hard to delineate the difference between the two plants.
Yeah.
And it really is important to know that the hemp plant is different from the marijuana plant.
Right, and as you said, the other thing that hemp brings is hemp's been around for thousands of years. It's nothing new.
100%.
And they made clothing and rope and things like that eons ago out of it. And then during the late 70s and 80s and 90s, it got that stigma about it.
Yeah, definitely. So, hopefully we can buck the trend of, being afraid of hemp products. The education is still desired, and that's why I'm here, to let people know that this is safe to consume. This is something that you have easy access to. Anyone who's looking for it, can find it with pretty good ease. And there's a lot of people that have ailments or problems with their body just getting older. You get little aches and pains, and this is something that can take the ease from those pains. And it's a non-pharmaceutical, so you're not doing the damage to your kidney, your livers. It's a really safe product to consume.
All right, very good. And of course, you can go to medterracbd.com to get more information, or go down to Adapt to It, and they can give you information, and you can pick it up there as well. I'll look forward to when you bring out your pet one for our dogs.
Yeah, we'll be back. I appreciate it.
We'll
Thank
need
you.
that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam, Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you too.
All right, you take care. We'll be right back.
Over the past 20 years, BreastLink has successfully treated thousands of women across Southern California. Our doctors like Dr. Lisa Curcio have helped women overcome numerous health challenges. With her experience, compassion, and the high quality of care she gives to every patient, Dr. Curcio is also a breast cancer survivor. She offers patients the newest and most effective surgical treatment options. Doctors like Dr. Curcio are the reason BreastLink delivers the care you deserve with the quality you expect. Whether you need us now or later, we're always here.
As a professional licensed realtor, you have worked countless hours to ensure your reputation is the best. Your clients know they can trust your judgment, that you'll be around when they need you, and that you will deliver what you promise. In escrow, one company has set that same standard for excellence. Escrow Options Group offers more than just outstanding escrow services. White glove concierge services, wire and fraud protection, custom estimates, and more at no extra charge. Choose the company that mirrors your professionalism. Escrow Options Group. Experience a better option of escrow services.
Hi, I'm Tim Moy. I'm your Chief of Security for Laguna Woods Village. I'm with Ray Gross, who serves on the GRF board and is also the chairman of the traffic hearing, which convenes monthly. Hey, today we're talking about golf cart safety. We've got about 1,300 golf carts in the village, and you can see the one that's behind us now. But there's actually a difference between golf carts and golf cars, and there are two, and the Department of Motor Vehicles describes both very specifically. We'd like to cover a few safety tips when operating a golf cart, and this applies to both golf cart drivers and other residents because you're going to be sharing the road within the village.
Since it's unique in this village, you have to understand when and where you can drive a golf cart. And remember, the speed limit is 15 miles an hour, and that's inside the village, not on the main street. Weight of less than 1,300 pounds, no license is required. Any non-resident operating a golf cart must be at least 16 years old and accompanied by a resident. Cannot be driven on roadway outside the village except crossing intersections.
For a golf car, the maximum speed is 25 miles an hour. Its weight must be less than 3,000 pounds. A driver's license is required, and a golf cart is not allowed on the golf course. Now remember, both a golf cart and a golf car must be registered with Resident Services. Each golf cart must now display a golf cart decal, and that will go on the left front windshield. If you're using shared electricity, for United, you will have the yellow, and for Third, the green, and that will go on the right rear bumper. Since golf carts share the road with other larger vehicles, such as delivery trucks, larger platform vehicles, it's very important to become a defensive driver and be aware of a few basic safety tips to ensure your safety. Many guests and non-residents can get a little turned around in the village, I think you all know that, and may be looking at street signs, cul-de-sacs, and addresses, and are not necessarily looking at the roadway. So when I use the term defensive driver, I'm emphasizing the need to be alert of your surroundings and assume that those on the road don't necessarily see you. A defensive driver will show extra caution. They will pause before entering an intersection, make eye contact if possible, and take turns slow.
Since it's unique in this village, you have to understand when and where you can drive a golf cart. Just like driving in a vehicle, you must obey all posted signs, especially stop signs. Our traffic teams closely monitor the stop signs, and for good reason. We've got a load of vehicles, bicyclists, walkers, and of course golf carts are on the road. The maximum speed on private roadways is 25 miles per hour. Maximum speed in cul-de-sacs and driveways is 15 miles per hour.
Talking on a cell phone while operating a golf cart is prohibited. Do not drive on sidewalks. Do not cut through on grassy areas. Yield to pedestrians. Outside the village, stay on designated sidewalks authorizing golf cart use. Do not drive golf carts on roadways unless crossing in an intersection controlled by traffic signals and crosswalks.
Do not drive in a bike lane or a vehicle lane outside the community.
If your golf cart is equipped with seat belts, please use them. Seatbelts save lives.
Never drive intoxicated or under the influence of medication. Very dangerous. The rules of driving under the influence are the same in golf carts as motor vehicles.
Slow down and use extreme caution during turns, blind corners, parking lots, and intersections, or even exiting a cul-de-sac. Assume the other driver cannot see you. When cresting a hill or driving in the early morning hours or late afternoon, it is important to keep in mind that glare may create poor visibility for yourself or others on the road. Once again, it's more difficult to see a smaller vehicle.
Drivers and passengers should keep all limbs within the inside of the vehicle while vehicle is in motion, except when signaling a turn. And remember, you have to drive only as fast as conditions allow. If it's raining, for instance, it could be quite slippery. Be very, very careful. If there are other vehicles in your way, slow down. Reduce speed when driving down hills, making turns during inclement weather, wet roadways, or when visibility is limited.
The City of Laguna Woods has published a map of the areas where golf carts are allowed to drive on sidewalks outside the village. Now, this map is very helpful for residents who are new to the community or who have recently purchased a golf cart. But just as a reminder, golf carts are not allowed to drive anywhere on the roadways of El Toro, Moulton, Paseo de Valencia, or Santa Maria. If you look at this map, you'll see the thick blue lines are sidewalks designated for golf cart use. On El Toro Road between Gate 7 and the horse stables entrance. On El Toro Road east of Moulton by City Hall and to Mother's Market. On Santa Maria between Gate 7 up to Moulton and south to Gate 16. This map also provides arrows for where you can cross at marked intersections. Those are identified by purple arrows. For those living within United Mutual and use gates 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can drive your golf carts across Moulton to Via Campo Verde, drive up and around by the service center, down the roadway past the horse stables, and then use the sidewalk on El Toro to gain access to the Stater Brothers Shopping Center, or use an intersection to access Gate 7, or even the community center. Using the map as a guide provides you access to the entire community and nearby stores.
When parked, keep your charger at least 6 inches off the ground and never leave your extension cord unattended. If you have any other questions about golf cart safety, please give us a call at Security 580-1400. And remember, let's be safe out there.
Different is powerful, yet calming. A winding road, a rooftop view, a coastal drive with no destination. Different is anything but predictable.
At South County Lexus, we celebrate the holidays a little different. And now, during the December to Remember sales event, you can lease the new 2019 Lexus NX 300 for just $329 per month.
Different can be good. At South County Lexus, you'll find different is amazing.
If you truly want to make a difference, there's no better way than a career in California water, a dynamic, essential industry at a critical turning point.
Water is absolutely the most crucial thing hitting our Central Valley and our state.
It's work that's so essential that people want to stick with it if they're in it.
It will be life-changing, not only for yourself, but for generations to come.
Through times of drought, aging infrastructure, and a growing population, the water leaders of tomorrow will seek innovative solutions to unprecedented challenges, helping protect California's most vital resource.
We have to broaden our network so that we can bring all the bright minds together to solve a problem that has to be solved.
It's a valuable resource. We need to protect it, and we always need people to do that.
The water business isn't just about delivering water, moving it from point A to point B. A new wave of opportunities are emerging, from working in the field to a water quality lab, shaping policy in a boardroom to customer service and human resources, tackling complex regulations, or leveraging technology for critical improvements in water efficiency and sustainability.
It's not just building pipes and pump stations anymore.
We need engineers, we need those in the hard sciences, we need those in the soft sciences, people that understand law, understand public policy.
You need the accountants, you need the rate setters.
We need all types and all hands on deck.
There's nothing more central to California's future than carrying on the water industry's mission.
It's a tremendous responsibility we have in delivering that water resource that you can't live without.
If you really want to make an impact, then this is where you're going to have the most impact.
In California water, you'll find a vast array of long-term, well-paying careers with numerous opportunities to grow and make your mark, and new initiatives welcoming the next generation.
It makes me feel like I can make a real big difference.
If you think that this industry is a non-changing industry, that's exactly the reason why you have to get involved. That's why you have to come in to affect that change.
It's only going to become more important as years go on, too.
Why not be that person to take the water industry to the next level?
We're going to have to be more innovative, we're going to have to collaborate more, and we'll need a new generation to help us do that.
The impact that your service will bring to public service and to water in general will last for generations to come.
Dr. Patrick Allure, who is here with RadNet, and we're going to be talking about lung screening CT. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So lung cancer screening, tell me a little bit about what's involved with that particular process.
Sure. For lung cancer screening at RadNet, we use a CT scanner to take hundreds of images through the lungs, looking for small lung nodules. And for those of you watching that don't know, a lung nodule is a small bump in the lungs that could be a benign finding, or in other words, not worrisome, but it could also be a precursor to lung cancer.
Wow, so now what are those nodules made of?
The nodules they could be made of cancer cells, or they could be made of old infectious areas and scars in the lungs. And what we're really worried about is that they're made of cancer cells.
Okay, all right. So now how did you get involved with this? I know we were going to kind of start out with that, but so, you know, you said that you had a relative that was
Correct.
diagnosed with lung cancer, but that was after you had already gotten into this. Tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Sure. Well, my grandmother was a long-term smoker, and she did develop lung nodules, which turned out over a period of time to be lung cancer, and she did pass away from that.
Okay.
So although I was already doing this, I studied at UCSF, body imaging, abdominal imaging, and some cancer imaging, and that's what I do with RadNet now. When I do look at these scans, it does fall close to home, because I've had relatives who've had lung nodules and have passed away from lung nodules or lung cancer.
Right, okay. So medical director of body imaging, and you just kind of gave us a little bit of an idea of what that is, but body imaging from head to toe, or how does that work?
Yeah, so body imaging basically is talking about the chest, abdomen, and pelvis, and the imaging of pathologies or diseases that are related to those body parts. And it would not include the extremities, which would be more of a musculoskeletal imager, or the brain and spine, which would be a neuroimager or a neuroradiologist.
Okay, so then you went from doing that to specifically lung cancer screening, or do you do
Correct.
all of it still?
I do all of it still, but I'm focused pretty heavily on lung cancer screening.
Okay. All right, let's kind of jump into who needs to be screened for lung cancer.
Okay, so patients that are at high risk for lung cancer are the ones that should really be screened, and that's specifically patients that have a long-term history of smoking.
Okay.
And you know, long-term is defined by Medicare as 30 pack years of smoking. So that could mean 1 pack a day for 30 years, or that could mean 2 packs a day for 15 years, and you know, you can do the math. But basically a long-term history of smoking. The patients could be former smokers or previous smokers, and they must be between the ages of 55 and 80 years old.
Oh, okay. Now, would you agree with all of those parameters?
Well, I understand that when you're dealing with a whole population of people, that's probably going to be the most efficient way and cost-effective way for our nation to screen for and treat lung cancer. But say if you had a patient who, and you know, if you were a primary care doctor and you had a patient who was maybe 50 and said, well, I've smoked, you know, since I was 14 years old, and you might still want the patient to get the lung cancer screening CT. Now, health insurance might not cover it, but they can still pay out of pocket.
Okay.
So,
okay. So I'm wondering if, after all of the studies that you've done so far and some of the new findings that are coming out today, do you think that they might change those parameters, especially if somebody smoked less?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, right now, if you have a negative test, it's recommended that you get the test every year from the age of 55 to 80. Now, I feel like as time goes by, when more data is collected, that recommendation of getting a test every year, even if it's negative, might become less frequent.
I see.
But that's a good point. But there's just not enough data right now.
Right, right. And then, so you said maybe every year for some of those people.
Correct.
Right,
so even if you're negative every year, if you have a small lung nodule, it would also be every year, and they would look at the nodule to make sure it's stable and not growing.
Okay.
And if the nodule is a little bit bigger, they might do an earlier follow-up, such as like a 3 or 6 month CT scan again. And if it's even larger, they would do a more advanced imaging test, which is a PET CT, and it specifically looks for cancer cells.
Okay.
And if it's even larger, they would just go right ahead and do a biopsy.
Okay. Now, how would a patient know when they're supposed to be getting their screening?
Okay, so well, they should definitely speak with their primary care physician, and if they fit into the category of the age and the smoking history, then they qualify for the study. Now, once the patient does have the study, they'll receive a letter in the mail that says what the findings of the study are and when they should return for follow-up.
Okay.
Their doctor will also receive the same letter and a report that documents that, so they can coordinate with the scheduler who schedules the imaging test with their doctor and there'll be multiple people in the know of when they should follow up.
Okay, perfect. Now, you talk a lot about nodules and what they're made of. So if a nodule is found initially, the next step then would be to have it diagnosed, or?
Right. So if the nodule is small enough, the patient can just follow up in 1 year again.
Okay.
So just making sure that it's stable. But if it's larger than, say, if it's larger than 6 millimeters, they might need to do a 3-month scan.
Okay.
Because it's more worrisome, so you'd want to watch it closer because it's more likely to be cancer. And then once it gets to like 8 millimeters or 1 centimeter, then it's seriously worrisome, and it's going to either need a biopsy or that imaging test which looks for cancer cells, the PET CT.
The PET CT. Okay, great. Now, is it only smokers who should have regular lung cancer screenings, or what are some of the other risk factors other than the 30-pack and things like that? Are there some other ones?
Right, there are other risk factors for developing lung cancer, but again, like we said, it's for smokers and former smokers.
Okay.
But outside of smoking, there's other environmental causes for lung cancer, such as pollution from living in a city, say.
Okay.
Some studies have shown that living in a really polluted city, New York City, say 20 years ago, with a lot of smog, or maybe a large Chinese city where there's a lot of coal in the air, coal fuels, is just as bad as smoking a pack a day. Now, so those patients would also be at risk for lung cancer. However, the test is really not meant for them, and the studies that were done showing how accurate the test is and how helpful the test is weren't done on those patient groups, really only on smokers. Okay. So if you do have a history of other risk factors for lung cancer, those environmental factors, maybe some occupational exposure, say if you were a fireman, or asbestos exposure if you worked in a shipyard, then even though you don't qualify for the study, you could speak to your doctor and say that you're concerned about lung cancer nonetheless, and maybe you could get this test, and if your insurance doesn't cover it, just pay out of pocket.
Okay, all right, great. Now, with the onset of the legalization of smoking marijuana, and also vaping and things like that, how does that differ from regular cigarette smoking in affecting the lungs?
Right, and that's an interesting question. There's not a lot of long-term data on either vaping or marijuana in large populations yet. Now, the most recent studies on marijuana show that smoking marijuana, I'm not talking about vaping it, but just smoking it, does increase your risk for lung cancer, although older studies would disagree with that. But the newest studies say it increases a little bit, and I don't think there's enough data yet to say how much does it increase it, or if it increases it more or less than cigarette smoking.
Right.
I have a feeling that over the long term, it probably is less than cigarette smoking, less of a risk factor.
Right.
But we'll see. As far as vaping goes, again, not a lot of long-term data. Vaping is relatively new, and the population studies that have been done are relatively small. But the chemicals in vaping include formaldehyde, heavy metals, and other chemicals in the flavoring. So those could also potentially cause lung cancer.
Right.
How much? I think the long-term studies will have to, show that. The jury is out.
Right.
But it's probably, again, less than cigarette smoking, than traditional cigarette smoking.
Well, because you probably don't have, like you said, not the same ingredients, right? I mean, you've got nicotine and a variety of other things in a cigarette as opposed to vaping or even marijuana, because you don't have all the same things.
Exactly. There's a lot more carcinogens in cigarette smoke than there are in the vaping, but there are still some in vaping, and some in vaping that aren't in the cigarettes, like the plastics and the metals that are in the material of the vape itself.
Even the formaldehyde. I mean, there's formaldehyde in food and
that's true.
And other types of medications. And so, I mean, anytime you're going to pollute your body with something like that, you could have risk of probably getting anything.
Very true.
Right.
Very true.
And also, you mentioned that just possibly living in a city that has lots of cars and coal and things like that could also. And the other thing that you said that was kind of interesting is that firemen, because I always wonder, smelling a lot of that smoke, and when they're just, I mean, I know they have protective gear on, but often, especially with 9/11, there was a lot of problems with the first responders.
Right. There were untold chemicals that were thrown up into the air when the Twin Towers collapsed, and those have caused many respiratory problems in the firefighters. Right. Other than not just cancer, but I think the long-term studies will probably show they have an increased risk of cancer as well.
Right, right. Yeah. Oh gosh, a lot of things to think about for sure. Any last few words here you'd like to tell everybody of some of the things they should be looking out for?
Well, other than if you have a high risk for lung cancer and you've smoked a lot, you should get this study. But all of the other screening tests that we should all get, for women, mammograms; for men, testicular self-screening.
Right.
breast self-screening for women as well, not just mammograms. And then when you're age appropriate, colon cancer screening with colonoscopy as well.
Right, and RadNet can provide all of that.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us.
I just love that ring. Where'd you get it?
I got it at the jewelry box. I saw it on Facebook, and then I went in and bought it. They have the most unique, awesome pre-owned pieces for amazing prices.
The Jewelry Box of Lake Forest, voted best jewelry store in Orange County for 8 straight years, offering unmatched prices on fine jewelry and watches, refurbished to new condition.
Visit us in our store or shop our website for just arrived items.
The Jewelry Box. It's about trust.
Hi, it's Desiree from Irvine Subaru, where families come first. As a family-ran dealership, your family's safety is our #1 priority. Come in and find the perfect Subaru from the largest selection of Subarus in Orange County. All models are top safety picks by the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. We offer the ideal balance of safety, performance, and economy. Irvine Subaru, more Subarus, more safety, more performance, more love.
Welcome back. Well, our movie today is a documentary about the life of Doris Day. It's called Doris Day, a sentimental journey, and this came out back in 1991. Very short. It runs just about an hour long. We'll bring that to you today at 2 and at 6 o'clock. And there are many interviews with different people who worked with her over the years, and of course with her. So you'll enjoy this. Roger Ebert, the late Roger Ebert, actually opens up the documentary, giving sort of a little bit of a preview and backstory of Doris Day. Then tomorrow, on New Year's Day, we're bringing you a special movie, Disney Pixar's Coco. This came out last year, a little over a year ago, as a matter of fact. It won 2 Academy Awards, Best Animated Feature and Best Song. And it's about a little boy who's an aspiring musician, but he is confronted with his family's ban on music. And he, through a few little misadventures, he enters the land of the dead to find his great-great-grandfather, a legendary singer. And there's a few little plot twists in this. Very well done. The animation is absolutely spectacular. Great music. And I think you will enjoy that. So we're going to bring that to you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Then, moving on to our Friday movie, which will be at 2 and at 7 o'clock, we're bringing you a different version of The Sound of Music. It's called The Sound of Music Live. This actually came out in 2015. And of course, this is all about a family in Austria where they hire a nanny to take care of their children. And this is during the time during the Nazi invasion of Austria that looms on the horizon, and through their family song, how they make it out of there. So it's based on the same story, but a different cast. It's very well done. I was looking at a bit of it the other day, and it's a very good representation of The Sound of Music. So that will be bringing to you on Friday at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Now, our movies coming up over the coming weeks in, boy, it's hard to say, January, but we're here. On the Monday movies, we have Colette, and then on January 14th, we have a different version of The Little Mermaid. This is a brand new non-Disney version, but it's a live-action version. We then have Alpha, a very interesting movie. It takes place in prehistoric times, and it's about a man who is separated from his tribe on a buffalo hunt, and he finds a lost wolf, and together they bond. Then The Catcher Was a Spy. This looks like a really good movie. it's based on a true story, about a Major League Baseball player who lives a double life working for the Office of Strategic Services during World War II. So very, very different movie, but again, it's based on a true story. Then as we make our way on the Friday movies, we have Operation Finale. It's about a team of secret agents set out to track down the Nazi officer who masterminded the Holocaust. That's also based on a true story. The Death of Stalin on January 18th. And then a Harrison Ford classic, Air Force One, we'll be bringing to you in January 25th. So those are our upcoming movies, and we'll look forward to some of the new movies that are out now that we'll probably eventually get. We did have a chance to see Mary Poppins Returns over the Christmas break, and it does justice to the original one. It is absolutely fantastic, and hopefully we'll get that one for you as well. That will probably be more like March or April. I'm sure it'll be on the list. All right, I want to tell you about the weather coming up. If you're watching this in the morning, so got some clouds out there, but that will break apart to a cool and sunny day. And moving forward, we are going to get some winds. Right now, the winds are predicted. There are high wind warnings overnight tonight, really starting probably about 8, 9 o'clock tonight, lasting probably to Wednesday morning. But you can see cool and clear out. As we get to Friday, we're going to get some more of those clouds in. Any possibility next weekend, we are looking at some possible rain coming in. That could change, but it is in the forecast, about a 20% chance of rain coming in next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the first weekend of January, actually. All right, as far as the weather goes across Southern California, I said this earlier, look at Palm Springs. Yep, that's their high today, folks, 59 degrees, and it's going to kind of stay at that level. Very cold up in Big Bear and the mountains. Their high is only 32 today, and that will stay true over the next few days. In fact, all these temps are going to be pretty much what you're going to see over the next several days. But that's how it should be. Making our way into January, I want the cold weather. You know, it's kind of nice and refreshing. All right, we are off tomorrow, and as I said, we're going to bring to you that movie Coco. So we will see you Wednesday, and have a good New Year.